here, or Sean Tate Jr. And it's episode 7. Cool, I guess. And in the last episode we saw the red team grow bigger in this new Irish country. I think Manchester got independence. Don't watch football. But also we saw a plague start. And this plague, it's going to start in Sweden. And well, here it's ravaging all throughout Sweden. Like, all in Sweden. Like, throughout the entire nation. In Sweden, they're like still on their conquest. And so they decide they are going to invade what is it called again? Germania. And you know, Germania, it is a still powerful nation. It's lost its main areas, which were very important, and it even had to move its capital down here, which Yugoslavia is kind of threatening. But who cares about that when there's still an invasion happening? Like, basically, the entire world is like, okay, cool, there's an invasion happening, and it's going to completely ravage these more populated areas of Germania. And we're going to see them capture all of these major cities and even splinter the nation in two, cutting its capital off from the rest of its nation. But something else is happening, and that is people inside or in Sweden are fed up. They are completely fed up, and they want their nation, or they want independence. And because of this, a little group starting in this major city is going to start to expand. And at first it's little, but soon it's basically ravaging the northern parts here. Kinda in Saxony, and I forgot the other province name in Germany. And even in occupied areas. And some of the soldiers are even dies. In Germania, or not Germania, Sweden, they're like, what is happening? What is happening? How is this happening? But luckily, they're going to be able to hold a front line. And then Sweden's like, we need to get our allies into the war. We need to get our allies. And so they're going to form their own team to try to defeat Germania. And soon, a alliance to stop the red team is formed. It is the Triangle Alliance. And it has Germania, France, Yugoslavia, and Carthage. And the red team has, for the Three-Pointed Star Alliance, or team, they have a better army. They have a much better army. But, well, the Triangle Squad, or the yeah, that is a Triangle Squad. It has, well, a much better navy. And actually, it's going to be the Penta Squad because Norway is actually surviving on these two islands, and they're going to join it. But I'm not going to put a star because they're too little. And yeah, let's continue this great war, I guess you can say. But, well, unrest is massive in the red team. Many nations hate them, and this includes Finland. Finland never surrendered, but they will continue to fight on. And with the chaos ensuing all across Europe, they think it's time for them to declare their independence from the red team. It's even going to happen in, I guess you can say Estonia. That's pretty cool in my opinion. And it is going to mainly be in Estonia and Finland, which are the two mainly Finnish regions. But they are going to still be able to hold on to St. Petersburg, as it kind of has a Finnish identity, but not the exact same one. And yeah, with the declaration of the independence of the Finnish Union, this is going to pull a lot of troops away from Germania. And because of this, we're going to see Germania almost connect up with each other, and then a little group of farmers are going to be like, hey, why don't we do that? And the red team, it's barely connecting on, and this is the reason they have an advantage in the war. But then, yeah, they cut them off, and the red team is like, we need to go. And slowly but steadily, the forces are going to retreat into Switzerland. And these troops in the Netherlands, they're not doing too good either. Their supply lines are running thin, as Germania is starting to have a naval dominance. But a few Welsh troops are going to stop complete hegemony, as they will tell these troops to flee to this major city, where Wales will bring them back to their nation, in which they will try to fight off everyone. And so, slowly, as their troops dwindle down and they all go to Wales, they are kicked out of this region of Germania. With only these two major cities being left, they are told to completely flee their occupied territories, and so we finally see Germania going on the offense. But how about we go down into Carthage? Carthage has a better navy, a much better navy, but not as good as an army. And so, Carthage is actually going to start to claim some land in Morocco so they can try to feed their troops. And they're even going to, well, just invade this little guy. They really had nothing defending them. And we are going to see Carthage realize they need to start their operation in Portugal. They're going to make a small landing, and it's going to be successful, as the Navy is destroying the cities on the coast. And yeah, this is our current offensive move. Oh yeah, this Iberian nation everyone forgot about. What's gonna happen? This is, and I'm actually going to give them a darker purple because they look a bit too similar to France. That's better. But they have this land occupied, which but yeah, France is now like, I think it's time we start our next move. And their next move is to invade Iberia, or kind of the Basque team. And the Basque team is going to immediately lose this major city on their border because they're kind of weak, like pretty weak after, well, Carthage invaded them, and I think Portugal may be a tiny bit stronger than them. But how about we go back into Germania? Germania is going to send horsemen all throughout their nation, and we'll tell them, join the revolution. Sweden shall fall, and Germania shall rise again. And I don't think a lot of people know this. Germania and Sweden are both bad nations, I guess. One, Germania is authoritarian, while this one is a military dictatorship. But the only reason people say this one's better is because they're not as imperialist. And that's what people have to realize. There's no democracies in this world yet. And so, Germania's message is going to get out there. And this is what they're going to claim or have left. But as Sweden thinks they finally have control of Denmark in their grasp, the minority of people which were not genocided rebel against the red team. And this is going to basically kill what's left of their navy. Their navy was stationed in Denmark. Why? Because Denmark gave an opening to Wales and other nations. And what's left, they will make or retreat it to Norway. Let's go back into Finland, where the Finnish Union is going on overdrive. It is going to start to claim unconquered lands or unpopulated lands. And this Finnish Union, well, it's only stable because they have one unifying force. And that is the red team, or many people like me call it Sweden. And soon it's going to take these two major cities and start their push to St. Petersburg, as this lake is going to fall in kind of the city. And soon everything's not looking like it's going well. All throughout Iberia, many more landings are going to be made by the power known as Carthage. Carthage kind of pioneered navy. Only one other nation really cared about their navy, and that was Norway, because they were fisher people. For some reason that sounds wrong to say fisher people. But they're going to continue their, I guess you can say, onslaught through Iberia. And eventually this little land is going to be recaptured by Corsica. I don't know why I call it Corsica when its capital is in Sardinia, but I think the revolution started in Corsica. And soon, Carthage and France are going to make an agreement. Carthage will try to get Portugal and Purple Iberia out, as France tries to get Basque or Galicia out. Galicia is finally getting their crap together and is trying to make sure their capital does not fall. And it won't fall yet, but it will be completely surrounded. I don't know if there's any major cities here, but yeah. Just for simplicity's sake, that will fall. And Iberia is collapsing quickly. Portugal is the strongest one of these nations. But since Carthage is a pretty populated nation, they're going to continuously have a funnel of people going in. And I just think they're one of the more democratic nations. And soon, most of Purple Iberia will fall to the control. And Portugal is, well, getting destroyed, like, massively. As the purple team is going to join Pink Iberia. Pink Iberia, they're like, we need to at least make a offense. And so they're going to invade their weakest neighbor, Corsica, and even capture the major city. But they have other stuff to worry about because their capital, it's under the control of France. And France is continuing to destroy Galicia as they're like, I think it's time that all three of them rejoin Iberia. Iberia is now a nation once again. All these occupied lands is not occupied by, like, this land over here is not being, the nation that's occupying or getting occupied is not Purple Iberia, Basque, or Portugal. It's now Iberia. And with their combined strength, they're even going to start a pushback into Galicia. But their resources are going to start to run thin as basically they're getting demolished, like, fully. And finally, they're going to run out of resources. And where are they going to pull out from immediately is Corsica. And then they're going to start to pull troops out of Galicia. For obvious reasons, it's the farthest away from the capital, which is in Portugal. And finally, they decide we are going to try to retreat to our capital area, which is going to fail as Carthage is going to reach the capital and take it. And now it's just whoever can get the most land wins race. Even little Corsica is going to take a major city. And then the rest is basically going to collapse because there's no real government occupying it now. And yep, this is kind of what Iberia looks like now. Oh, Italy's holding out. So is the red team. Barely. Like, barely, but, I mean, still technically. Finnish Union, yeah. They're like, we need to retreat more. We cannot hold Karelia in these two major cities. Just retreat to the Baltics. And, yeah, that's going to kind of happen now. Cool stuff. And soon, Wales realize something. Sweden doesn't look like it's going to win. It really doesn't. Things are looking horrible for them. It doesn't look like they'll survive 3 or 4 more years. And so they're going to betray their ally, their only ally. And this is going to surprise everyone in the world. Everyone thought that Wales was going to stick by the red team to the end. And remember the troops that got, well, taken from them to them? They're even going to betray the red team and join Wales. And Wales has actually, for some reason, a better navy than Norway, or not Norway, Sweden, and Iceland's going to fall. And, well, more nations are going to realize the end for the red team is near. And the first thing we're actually going to see is, no, not that, but them starting to occupy this region. They don't plan to annex it because it was a part of Poland, and they kind of want to have a old balance of power. Because, yeah, cool stuff, I guess. And a front line is going to be reheld in the Baltics. And, well, Finnish Union, cool. St. Petersburg is going to fall. And this is just going to be one of the final nails in the coffin for Sweden. Sweden is going to even lose this region here. And actually, most of the army is stationed in the Baltics. Not in, well, Sweden for some reason. Sweden is going to tell them, yo, you need to leave. But here's the thing, this plague has been massively devastating for Sweden. And you may be wondering, how did they, well, get kicked out so fast? Sure, the revolutions, but also, they had some of the most unsanitary conditions, and the plague is sweeping across the army. And even across Northern Europe, like Germania, the Finnish Union, Sweden 100%. But this army is actually not getting affected by it. And here's how the virus got to, well, Sweden. Gotland had a virus. Doctors came, went back to the Swedish mainland, gave everyone there it, blah, blah, blah. New outbreak starts. That's just how it roughly started. And now, well, one last nation is going to declare their end of, or I don't know, but one more nation is going to also start their leave of Sweden. That's Norway. Norway was a powerful nation, I should say, because they no longer exist. But this is the Swedish majority regions now. You may be like, but didn't they have all of this northern land here? They did. But now Swedes outpopulate them, which is sad. And, well, we're going to see the blue team gets their Norwegian lands back. Even like this area, yeah, was a part of them. We're just going to continue to see this break away. Sweden has no chance of winning. They are absolutely demolished. With all this land being back, we're going to see them continue to retreat out. They're going to tell everyone to retreat out of the north, as it's mainly now protecting the motherland. The Finnish Union's going to take that. And soon, this region here, where most of their army is in the Baltics, is going to declare their independence for one reason. They want not to get destroyed. And so, they will declare their independence fully. Even these two islands, for some reason, will also be a part of it. And screw it, Gotland will also. And Sweden is going to continue to collapse as Norwegian troops are going to continue to push up into northern Sweden. Oh yeah, and let's go back to Italy. Italy is in mayhem. Let me just show you what the front lines currently look like. And here's the treaty for this video. Let's start out in Iberia. I forgot to mention this, but before Iberia fully fell, They sent out a boat somewhere. It hasn't landed yet. It hasn't made contact. It's lost, fully lost. Let's just start out with Iberia. First, we see France. That's gone, or like the Iberian Holdings is kind of gone, sadly. Iberia or Basque is now Galicia and retreated to here. Purple Iberia's gone. It's now Corsica and kind of Carthage. It's got the southern coast of Spain. Portugal or Lisbon. This is now Lisbon, and this is Portugal. Got their independence, kind of. Now let's go into Italy. Like we said, the revolution happened in the south. It kind of got annexed to that. Italy's still here, but in a weaker state. Yugoslavia got land throughout the Alps and cool stuff like that. Germania got their old lands they had. And then Prussia kind of got independence, or Poland did. This military thing also got independence. Like we saw that. The Finnish Union got independence. I don't know why that's still red team territory. Let me fix that real quick. Now it's a part of this northern Swedish nation. Norway got independence. So did, yeah. I think that's it. Oh yeah, Wales got the Scottish lands and Iceland. And finally, Sweden. Sweden. Well, they got divided up into 3 nations. But these nations are really unstable. If you don't know where this is going, I can't blame you. Because, yeah, we're going to see this, area up here gain independence. Let me show you where it is. It's right here. It's going to gain independence. Something like that. It kind of looks like Italy, but not really. That's going to be all the dividing for northern, I guess you can say Sweden. And now Lavender Sweden. They are a powerful nation, but will also get divided up. Sweden is kind of getting balkanized, and the powers made sure that they were unstable. They don't want a strong Sweden to rise up ever again. And yeah, how about we look at power rankings now? Number 1 is France. They massively got a lot of land from the war. 2 is Germania. They're back in power. 3, Wales. Okay, let me explain why Wales is so powerful. Like we said, they got a lot of military, like a lot from the occupying lands from here, which escaped on ships. They never got really used their army in the war. 4, Greece, stayed out of the war, becoming really powerful. But number 5 is also interchangeably with Greece, Carthage. They don't have the strongest military, but I will say this as a fact, they do have the strongest economy in the world. Actually, Germany or France maybe. Actually, no, I think Carthage is barely stronger. 6, Vietnam. They just don't have the technology as them, but they are more populated than them. I'm pretty sure. 7, Yugoslavia. Just really massively benefited from the war. Number 8, Finland, the Finnish Union. They just have a lot of land, but not really stable. For obvious reasons, Finland hates each other. Number 9, Basque, lost major lands. And 10, Korea. Korea, it just doesn't have a good technology. And yeah, our daily Finland update was that. And I would like to have one more event in this video. It's kind of weird, but Red Team explorers were gone for the entire war. And they want, after they hear what happened in Sweden, they're like, what? No way. No way that could actually happen. Let's turn on the river layer for a second, shall we? Yeah, see this? A continuation, kind of I don't know, is going to happen, of Sweden is. And they're going to go along this river here and take this land. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you in episode 8. I think Laser or Chilean is doing it. Cool stuff. And yeah, peace.